The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day yesterday. It's only once a year, but I have kids, so it's a important holiday for me, and I just always have my fingers crossed that my kids will at least call me. I just get a call, I'm okay. I don't care about the gifts. Anyhow, we have got a great show for you this morning. And I want to tell you something. This show that's coming up right now, I am so glad we moved it from just the Tampa area to the entire Florida area. And it's because we get so many letters from you. It's amazing. It's probably one of our most popular shows. It's the Provise Management Group show. And I got to tell you, because we start promoting the show about 2 to 3 days out. And as of this morning, we had emails coming in because of the conflict going on. And I'll bet you our expert, Ray Ferrara, will not be surprised. That's what everybody wants to know about. Good morning, Ray.
Steve, good morning. And as always, happy Monday.
Yes, absolutely. And Ray, we do this for every show. And I'm so glad we do your show twice a month. It's that important. I got to tell you that I'm so amazed about the amount of email that we get about your show. People love the advice that you give, and it's so important, especially probably now more than ever. But we are getting so many new people we've been doing this for I think 4 years now and 5 years now, but people are still saying, hey, I just found your show. So tell people first of all about Provise Management Group.
Happy to do so, Stephen. Provise is a financial planning and investment management firm with the emphasis on the financial planning side. Lots of people call themselves financial planners, but really all they are asset gatherers and investment folks. And clearly investments are an important part of the financial plan, but a financial plan encompasses much more than just investments. It's retirement planning, education planning, budgeting, dealing with asset protection, insurances, not just life insurance, but homeowners, auto. Here in Florida, of course, having to deal with wind. So it is an integrated financial plan that we prepare for our clients. We have 2 offices here, one in Clearwater, which is our main office, and the other in Tampa. We have a wonderful group staff of 30 people that includes 13 financial advisors, all of whom have the Certified Financial Planner CFP designation. And we've been working at a fiduciary standard of care since 1988, long before it became in vogue.
Yes.
And we always offer a 1-hour complimentary consultation to any of our listeners. You simply have to give our office a call at 727-441-9022. That's 727-441-9022. 9022. Or you can go, if you'd like to first learn a little bit more about us, go to provise.com, and that's PROVISE.com, PROVISE.com. Take advantage. We'll meet in person in either Clearwater or Tampa, or if it's more comfortable for you, we'll be happy to set up a Zoom call to do that complimentary consultation.
And you do take on clients from all over, not just from Tampa.
Well, not just in Florida. We actually have clients in over 30 states, and we're managing somewhere around $2 billion on behalf of our clients.
Ray, do you ever look back from when you started Provise Management Group, where you've taken the company up to now?
I'm a very optimistic person, Stephen, as you're aware, and I am a dreamer. But I never would have dreamed that Provise would have reached the size and the status that it has within the financial planning community. I'm very proud of the folks that have been part of Provise over the years, and particularly proud of the current team that we have. And in fact, just last week, we brought on two young college grads, one from the University of South Florida and the other from Florida, beginning as paraplanners and working. So we believe in home growing our financial planners and excited about the growth that's in the future.
Well, what you've done is so amazing. So I was saying in the beginning of the show, we've gotten so many texts and emails, people wondering about the conflict in the Middle East now, and how is it going to affect the stock and bond markets, short and long term, and how should investors react?
So, wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
So obviously the stock and the bond market have already reacted. Last Friday was a significant downturn for the market. It is bouncing back a little bit this morning, maybe about 40% of what it lost last Friday. So volatility is and continues to be the name of the game at the moment. And we're going to see continued volatility. We've seen the conflict continue over the weekend. And this morning, Israel basically says that they have control of the airspace over Iran, yes, which is an unbelievable feat. If in fact they have been able to do that. So now that leads us to what happens from here. So far, Iran's response has been directed at Israel. It hasn't had any of its surrogate organizations like Hezbollah and others that they have sponsored over the years to have retaliated yet. There's oil is up this morning again dramatically because of worried about supplies, even though yes, Iran does not produce that much on the world markets. The balance would be destabilized. So far, the Israelis have stayed away from the oil fields and the manufacturing. And why would they do that when it's so important to Iran? Well, the biggest reason is that if they did it, it would drive prices up. And if there's anything that would upset the president of the United States, it's rising oil prices. And so my sense is that Israel is refraining from hitting the oil fields in Iran because it doesn't want to upset its good friend, the United States, and particularly it's our president. Also, one has to remember that for every, in round numbers, if you add $10 to a barrel of oil, you're going to increase inflation by 30 basis points, plus or minus 10 basis points, somewhere between 20 and 40 basis points. which is exactly the opposite of what the president wants to hear. So the muted response so far has indicated that the pieces simply need to come together so that there won't be inflation as a result of the oil. Now, what should an investor do in the short run? You're going to have to deal with the volatility. That's what you have to do. You're going to have to just stomach it. In the long run, there's been a lot of talk about trades that be made in the defense industry, trades that could be done in oil, et cetera. And if you're a short-term trader, which most of our listeners are not traders, there may be some opportunities that are there. But even then, I would caution about the short run with the volatility that's existing today. Look at your portfolio, make sure that your asset allocation is correct. I know this is very boring stuff, but on a long-term basis, that's how people should be investing, and trying to beat the system with short-term gains during cases of volatility simply doesn't usually come out on in a positive way. So don't do anything with your portfolio. Don't panic. Don't sell, for heaven's sakes. If there is a further dip in the market and you have cash, consider nibbling at those dips as they occur, as they did on last Friday. So stay the course. You know, Stephen, our listeners have heard me say that over and over again. But in this case, that's the best thing to do. This too shall pass, and hopefully the world will be in a better place at the conclusion of this war between Israel and Iran.
Ray, do you see with the oil prices going up, will that reflect at the gas stations also?
Oh, absolutely. And we really have already seen some increases that occurred late last week. The way it works is when oil prices go up, gasoline prices go up immediately, even though the gasoline that's in the system is not the price that the oil that is today. And then when oil prices come back down, prices at the gasoline pump take much longer to come back down. So they've got a good gig. They go up quickly and they go down slowly.
I hear you. So I guess also top of mind also is the big, beautiful bill. The Senate's preparing changes to the House passed by the big, beautiful bill. And the president wants it on his desk by July 4th. What do you think some of the changes are going to be?
Well, we're going to find out this afternoon exactly what those changes are going to be. The Senate is prepared to release its preliminary version of the bill. The things that have generally been talked about and are likely to be changed in a fairly substantial way will be the state and local taxes initiative. That's commonly referred to as SALT, for state and local taxes. It's been $10,000 per year, a cap that's existed since 2017. In the House, they had proposed originally increasing that to $20,000, but before they were able to pass it, it was increased to $40,000. And that's where it sits in their bill. I would expect the Senate to come back to the $20,000 level. That's my estimate as to where they would be. So I would look for that kind of a change. Also, that there are, although a lot of people perceive Medicaid as a giveaway to people who are too lazy to work and who might have immigrated here to the United States, et cetera. It is also a very important program, and one that even Republican senators and some representatives are very concerned about, and that the House cut too deeply into Medicaid. Everybody wants to see waste fraud and abuse be eliminated from any system, and particularly in Medicaid. And I think that can be done. But to cut as deeply into the program as was proposed by the House, I think there will be some pretty significant pushback in the Senate. I'd also expect that the Senate might look at eliminating some of the provisions or limiting the provisions around no taxation on tips and overtime, which frankly, as it relates to the tips, I'm still convinced, Stephen, that not all that tip income gets reported the way it should.
Right.
And in order to take advantage of the no tax on tips, you'll have to report tips in the first place. And if suddenly those tips are greater than what you've been, producing for all these years, and you've been in that same job, it's going to certainly raise
I didn't think of that. Yes.
eyebrows. So, if I was getting tip income and I wasn't doing what I should be doing by declaring it all, I'm not sure how much of it I would declare. And it would look pretty silly if I just declare up to the limit and then suddenly I don't have any more tips after that.
Right.
Those kinds of provisions, I think, will change. Will we make it by July 4th? I think there's a very low probability of that. Here we're sitting the middle of June, the 16th of June.
Right.
So we've got 20 days. The bill has to go through all of the different all of the different committees in the Senate. That'll probably get done this week. Probably see the bill get to the floor of the Senate over the weekend, maybe early next week for votes. And it'll pass barely, just like it did in the House. And then the two are going to have to sit down and iron out their differences. And we just don't see how it's possible for them to get it all done between now and the 4th of July and get it on the president's desk. Not saying it can't happen, but the odds of it happening are really small.
What about what do you think the Senate's going to do with military cuts and Social Security? Do you think they'll leave it the way the Congress has done it?
I think that as far as Social Security is concerned, it will not be hurt in any way. The significant change that was proposed about not taxing Social Security was scrapped in the House bill, but they did give to seniors, which is an undefined term in the bill. It's assumed to be 65 and above, that they would get an extra deduction of $4,000 per year, which would save the average senior maybe in the neighborhood of $700, $800 per year in taxes. That might get dropped, but no changes to Social Security. Given the events of the past week, particularly, but even one could say the past few years, I don't see significant cuts to the defense budget. It's just too important to maintain our security.
I agree. The Feds meet later this month. Any opportunity for a long anticipated rate cut?
There's two chances, none and none at all. There's very few things that I feel absolutely positive about in a world of uncertainty, but I feel pretty confident that there is nothing that has occurred since the Fed met in May that would cause them to make a change in interest rates at this meeting, and the likelihood that it will occur at the next meeting is very small. About the only thing economically, I don't see any reason for the Fed to move at this point, that the Fed thinks it would move at this point. But if this conflict between, and war, if you wish to call it that, between Iran and Israel were to significantly escalate, and let's say that Iran reaches a point of total desperation and they decide to just throw everything they've got wherever they can throw it in some type of a Hail Mary case, and we're effective with it, which could cause significant disruption to the world economy. That might move the Fed to do something with the interest rates that is beyond the economic reasons to do it, but in this case, to make money flow a little more freely. My hope is that doesn't happen, because Iran capitulating and throwing everything in an act of desperation cannot end well for anybody.
A lot of people are asking, do you think this is political while they're not cutting rates?
It's a coin with two heads on it, and the other coin that I have in my pocket has two tails on it.
Okay.
When you look at the facts, you can make an argument that the Fed should cut interest rates from an economic point of view. You look at the same set of facts, Stephen, and you can make an equally strong argument that they should not. At the moment, we believe that the Fed should stay put. That from an economic standpoint, there is no reason to cut the rates. If we see job weakness and more cuts than there are new jobs being done, that would cause the Fed, from an economic standpoint, to cut rates. At the moment, we don't see that. We're still 140, 150,000 new jobs every month. You translate that out, that's 1.8 million new jobs in the course of a year. So why would you cut in the face of that? Stephen, I know we only got a little time left, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows about our offer for a complimentary 1-hour consultation. All they have to do is give our office a call at 727-441-9022. That's 727-441-9022. And just say you'd like to set up a complimentary 1-hour consultation in our Clearwater or Tampa office, or by Zoom, and meet with one of our certified financial planners. We'll be happy to set that up. If you want to check up on us ahead of time, go to provise.com, and that's PROVISE.com.
Ray, we certainly appreciate you. We're so glad we have you twice a month. You'll be back again with us in 2 weeks. We appreciate you, and have a wonderful week. Thanks so much, Ray.
Take care, Stephen, and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
Okay. And we'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.